Yeah, that's true.
Okay, good evening. I'd like to call to order the Town of Rocky Hill Open Space and Conservation Commission regular meeting for Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, first, our next item on the agenda is the election of officers. I'd like to go ahead and start with secretary. Do I have any nominations?
Yes. Hi, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Kelly in the role of secretary.
Okay.
Second.
Second, discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nope. Okay, congratulations, Secretary Kelly. Okay, next would be nominations for vice chair.
Madam Chairman, I would like to nominate our Commissioner Leslie Kurtz for Vice Chairman.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nope. Okay. And next is chair.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a nomination for chair.
Okay,
I'd like to nominate Michelle Zach.
thank
Chair.
you.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? All righty. Okay, so just for the record, that's going to be Sandy Kelly as secretary, Leslie Kurz as vice chair, and myself as chair again. Okay, thank you, everybody. Okay, next item is public. Is anybody here from the public who has anything to speak on that is not on the agenda? Okay, hearing none. Okay, let's continue the show cause hearing for Meadow Properties LLC. I think we have a few things to go ahead and read into. Should we read this into? We don't need to read it. Do we need to read this in?
No.
No?
Chairman Zach, I have to recuse.
That's correct, yes. Okay, Commissioner Stevens is recusing himself from this. In his place, Commissioner Melissa, just draw a blank on her last name. Thank you. Will be voting in his place. Okay. I don't think we have anything to read into the record then. Nope. Okay. Okay. Mr. Lychak, can you please step forward, please? Thank you. And can you please give us an update as to the status of your plan and the remediation?
I just want to thank you. I wish, I'm glad now that you did your thing, so it wasn't me holding you up. Well, right now, everything's at a standstill. The weather hasn't cooperated, DEP hasn't cooperated, the town of Rocky Hill has cooperated, but nobody else has done anything. I had a meeting with Dave Palmberg on, I believe it was Friday, told him that my surveyor will be up there on Monday. As soon as I get off the phone with him, I called the surveyor, and his grandmother, 99, and his aunt, 97, died 2 days between each other. Matter of fact, they believe one of the wakes are tonight. And you can put that on the record. Maybe it was last night or maybe it was this Thursday, but 2 of them passed the same week. So I have not been up there. I have not done anything. And I tried to do something with the town on last week, early last week, for the Ames property, because that would make everybody very happy, bringing in the dirt from the Ames property, because they have an overabundance of material. It's all clean material, and it's only 1 mile away. They have to truck this, into Bloomfield or farther. So we were working on that to get that up there. And then I get an email from the DEP said, halt, cease, don't do nothing. So now I'm playing games again with the town, not the town this time, now with the DEP and them. It's not games, it's, I guess I have to go through the commissioner now to bring anything up there. Same thing with you guys. I thought I'd only have to work with Dave Palmberg on this and you people on this. And as far as anything else, I'm gonna stand still. We had bad weather. Dave was up there. You can't even get up there. And then we were supposed to be up there this week. And as you see, we're not getting up there this week. And we're not even gonna get up there next week or the week after if it stays 24 degrees every morning. So that's where I'm headed. And I'm sorry you guys had to be here tonight, but I know you did your thing, so that was good. I feel a lot better for that. But that's where I'm at. It's shut down. Shut down, and as everything else, like why I'm here, I'm supposed to give you a thing. We already have that in the works. We can't get cooperation with Mother Nature. That's it. That's all I have for you. And if that's, you think I'm saying something wrong, then you do what you got to do to me. I'm sorry. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Mr. Lychak at this time?
Yeah, one
Go
quick, when you said in the works, that's you're working with your designer for,
A consultant engineering that was
consultant?
supposed to go out there. Yes, his name is DPS Chris Talmadge, I believe.
okay,
And when he does show up here, you write the dates down that I just told you, and you can ask him, grandma and his aunt,
okay.
within 2 days of each other, sisters. So, listen, as far as I'm concerned, hey, family's more important than getting up there. Well, plus the weather.
Okay. I'm all set then.
Okay, Commissioner Kaplan?
Any luck on getting your delineation scope or anything? I know the letter that you said the company had to get someone. I know the weather isn't good, but I didn't know if there's been works on trying to get somebody lined up so they're ready to go once the weather's.
That's the guy I was just talking about.
Oh,
Chris Talmadge, is it DPS? I don't have any of my paperwork.
oh, you said, okay, I wasn't sure.
That's
He
the-
said
that's the
designer.
Designer,
delineator, different-
consultant,
different terms
whatever,
for my head, sorry.
whatever they call themselves with the
Delineate the wetlands.
whatever the names of, that's the guy that we're working with.
Okay, all right, so you got somebody lined up, it just.
Oh, it's all,
didn't work.
everything's like,
Okay.
like I said, I was in his office, and I even said to him, I said, Dave, we're all set for next week.
Okay.
He's going up there. We don't believe, now, this is me talking, I'm not saying anything about the DEP or you guys or anybody, but what he looked at the thing was, wait a second, if you were 100 feet within the wetlands, that's the dump. That's the dump. We had the permits to go in there and do all the work from the wetlands up. So that's going to be another fiasco. I had a blowout with my partner on Thursday or Friday, the day I called him and told him about all this. So there's going to be a big problem with that also, as in saying, this is your jurisdiction. It's not. It's well, the last paragraph is we're get wetlands approvals, or not wetlands, but municipal approvals. We had the approvals from the whole wetlands, the whole east side. So now we got to come back to you and say, oh, now we're going to be doing work in there? But it's
Yes.
part of the dump project.
If it's different from any original permit that you have, if it's something new, like, for example, you talked about bringing in dirt from Ames, well,
Oh, no, I'm
do
just
that if
telling
it's
you
within
what
100 feet of a
I'm just
wetland.
telling you what I was doing. But no, they're saying that the delineation, the dump, the waste of the dump, if you look at your maps, the waste of the dump is sitting right in the wetlands. We had the permission to go from the wetlands up. So now I'm getting beat up or fined or coming here and wasting your time for something that we had that permit to go this way From this wetlands, if you looked at the
Right.
thing,
But Mr. Lychek, the permit is actually, there's always, when you're dealing with wetlands, a 100-foot upland review area.
Well, it was
That
also-
cannot be disturbed. Okay, that's what our biggest concern is right now too, is that you're invading that 100-foot upland review area. Okay? So that is our,
I understand, but I guess you didn't understand what I just,
yeah, you're saying from the wetlands, you had a permit from the wetlands.
Wetlands.
Right, well, you have the wetlands and then you have the 100-foot upland review area. That 100-foot upland review area is constituted as part of the wetlands per se. So you have that, you cannot disturb anything either within that 100-foot area.
well, then we need the lawyers then to do this, because here's the deal. Here's your wetlands. Look at the wetlands map. You're gonna see waste to the bottom of that wetlands, sitting on that wetlands, all the way across the east side.
Right,
So now we get a permit from the state. The state did say, no, you stay, as long as you stay out of the wetlands and stay above the wetlands, we're granting you to cap that landfill. I'm not gonna talk anymore because I'll let you do all the talking because
Just to clarify,
yes.
anybody who wants to do anything, you have to get local, state, and federal permits, or at least comply. Not everybody needs to get all of them.
Okay.
So the state, DEEP,
We
has
don't,
their regulations,
Right.
which also includes the Inland Wetlands and
Yep.
Watercourses Act, which is in jurisdiction by us, the
Right.
Conservation Commission in Rocky
Right.
Hill. Or in other towns, it's called the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse
so,
Commission.
so, can you again explain to me what I did wrong? I still have, nobody told me what I did wrong.
Steve, can you please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Just, first of all, to clarify, I'm not aware of any approval for the closure or the capping of the former landfill. There was approval to correct a violation for trails that were made down in that area.
Yep.
I believe that was about 2012.
Right.
There's been no approvals, local approvals, for the activities, we have a couple proposed closure plans that got bogged down in DEP, but none of them came before this commission that I'm aware of for the capping. Obviously, if you came up with a plan satisfactory to DEEP in the closure, I would think that the commission would be more favorable for it. You would have, complete plans with erosion controls and stabilization.
You have all that. The
Right.
state- the town of
But that
Rocky Hill
was-
has all
But
of
that's never come before this commission.
Yes, it did come before this commission. Years ago, it came before this commission.
I've been on this commission. Scott, Todd, you've been on this commission for how many years yet? You, David, Sandy?
All right.
I'm sure it's expired by now,
Thank
keep it for-
Well, that was going to be my next
The
point. If
permit,
there's something
yes.
I'm not aware of,
Permit, yes.
the permits are typically,
When someone's
sorry.
speaking- I'm sorry,
right,
go ahead, Dave.
the permits would expire, in that time period, about 5-year period. So
Okay.
just for to clarify
All right.
my understanding of the permit situation. And within our regulations, this commission has the authority to regulate activities in the wetlands as well as within the 100-foot upland review area. It's not that you can't necessarily do anything in that 100 upland review area, it's just subject to approval from this commission. And this commission is charged with protecting anything that contributes to the wetlands, runoff, sedimentation, et cetera, et cetera. So that's when the clearing occurred.
Okay.
That was within the 100-foot upland review area, and that's why I took action with the letter and the cease and desist. And now we're waiting for a plan of number one, where's the wetland line now, because they do change over time sometimes. And number two, what actions are going to be taking to stabilize the area, at least within the 100-foot review area. The top of the landfill that's outside of the 100-foot area is not necessarily subject to approval from this commission. However, that contributes into the wetlands, and that's what this commission is looking out for. My understanding is we want to make sure that sediment's not getting washed down into the wetlands again, There's some kind of vegetative cover on that, and whether you put additional material down before you seed it or not, that's between you and DEEP, I guess, because that's who regulates that cover. Commission just wants to protect the wetlands in those areas where those actions took place. So I will also add that, yes, you and I have had many conversations in the past few weeks. The wood chips, Mr. Lyschatz did create a wood chip berm about, I don't know, half to two-thirds of the way down where the worst erosion was occurring. Now, this wood chip burns about a third of the way down the hill from the top, and I was up there Friday and got some photos. It's working. It's not getting washed away. There's sediment's been caught on the uphill side of it. Other than that, the only other activities was he was taking some larger firewood, tree length firewood out of there, or getting it ready to take out of there, and chipped up some of the brush up there. No other activities have been going on up there.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Kelly, you had something?
Thank you. I just want to back up a few questions ago. We started asking about the plan. I understand life happens or life issues happens, and we all sympathize with that. You've had a month since the last meeting.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, you lined somebody up, and you were getting ready to have them. They have not had a chance to view your property yet.
Have not.
Okay, so, and I think this will come up, maybe this might be a motion, but we'd like to know that this will happen within the next month, because we are now getting to planting season. It's hard to imagine, but,
I'm not Mother Nature. I'll make the calls. And again, I told Ms. Kaplan, if you have somebody that wants to go up there, I'm paying for it. If you have somebody that wants to go up there.
that's not for us to decide. You hire the
So
person.
I am doing that, and I
Okay.
did that. I'm working in good faith with the town. And after Dave has talked about this wetlands, and you're all worried about this wetlands, how come you're not worried about the leachate that's going into the wetlands? I mean, that's a big problem. You should be working more due diligent with me, going to the state of Connecticut and say, why are you?
We can't move the state of Connecticut.
And I can't either,
because
and I
we've
can't move you. I can't
communicated.
move anything right now. I
Well,
moved a lot of
excuse
snow
me.
in the last 40
Excuse me.
hours. but-
We're doing what is our jurisdiction.
Correct.
We see letters from DEEP, we see their response to the notice of violation.
Yep.
We can't do anything about that.
Okay.
We can enforce as best we can with what we want. We want a wetlands permit, and we want a plan. And let's keep it real focused
Yep, we
for
are.
us.
I'm trying to focus with
Good with
Dave.
that.
I am
Thank you.
trying my best, but I cannot promise you, Sandy, that I'm going to have it done.
Well,
We just got whacked with
we've got
11 and a
4
half
weeks.
inches of snow.
We've got 4 weeks.
Well,
We do have 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, I'm done
Okay,
right now.
all right,
Okay.
yes.
Todd?
I actually have
Commissioner Burke?
I have a question for staff. I'm not completely familiar with where the dump is does the landfill extend into the 100-foot wetlands? And the other question would be, who has more jurisdictional clout? I mean, can we say, fix the 100-foot upland review even if the review goes over the landfill? Or do we stop where the DEP's jurisdiction is, wherever that is, and we can only say, do things outside of the DEP's land, DEP's power?
Well, first of all, generally speaking, the wetland limit is the toe of the slope on the
Right.
east and north side,
Yeah.
for the sake of argument. So going up that slope 100 feet is the upland review area. Any materials, any fill brought in requires approval from the Solid Waste Division of DEEP, because it is a landfill.
All right.
What I see as the purview of this commission is, to review the grading, so there's not a channel shooting water right down the slope. Vegetation, the appropriate vegetation, maybe along the edge outside of the landfill, if something like that, or seeding on top of the landfill. And then I would assume if the slopes were being seeded, that inner portion of the landfill outside of the 100-foot upland review area would be seeded at the same time. That would make sense. You're not going to leave
The
a
whole thing will
bald
be
spot
seeded
on.
all at once, right? Or in stages. We're going to start at the north side, and we're going to work all the way south. So you'll stage this, so many acres, stage,
Okay.
stage.
Great.
So the landfill goes like right down to the stream, so, but we have the power to say, do whatever we have to do to stop the erosion
Yeah.
in the,
Yeah,
Okay.
one thing, I mean, one thing that you have to be careful about is if any commission members want specific plantings or something, that's not something that'll interfere with the cap of the landfill. You know, some type of seed mix, low-growing grasses or whatever, that obviously wouldn't go through the cap. But if you get into trees or shrubs, you know, that, I think we have to defer a little bit to DEEP because they don't want trees on the landfill. you know.
yeah.
For obvious reasons, yep.
Can I just make one more statement? Yeah, we as a local government cannot request anything that would be more or less stringent than the state. So we have to abide by the state regs too. So if the state
Yeah.
requires a specific type of sediment or cover or cap, we can't tell them to go bring in concrete or something,
Right,
you know,
but-
we have to.
Right, we
abide.
can't exceed,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right, but, yeah, my thought was, if we would get in trouble with the DEEP while trying to preserve the slope, even though there's landfill under it, which technically is part of the capping process, but we can still say, stop the erosion.
Right, and that's basically how we came up with the wood chip berm
Right.
for now, as a non-invasive erosion control, and DEEP agreed with that. I did run it by them, and they didn't object to that.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Commissioner Cruz?
No.
Okay. I really don't have anything. I do want to make one statement, Mr. Lychak, and please don't take this the wrong way. We have been patient. We've been working on this now this is our fourth meeting on this. We've been patient, okay? We've been working with you. We appreciate what you have done so far. Don't get me wrong. We see it, and we appreciate it. You know, I'm glad that after that last meeting, that following day, you were right there in Dave's office getting the permit. Appreciate that tremendously. You're working with Dave very closely. You're working with town very closely, whether it be with Dave or with Steve Sobolak. Appreciate that tremendously. We're seeing movement in that way. My big thing is we need a plan of remediation. I know, like Commissioner Kelly said, it happens, you know, family obviously comes first, obviously weather, yes, but we've given you enough time to get something done, something in writing to us, something that we can review and come back and say yes or no. Okay, at this point, and commissioners have every right to disagree with me if they would like. I feel at this point that we need a plan by next month's meeting. And not just a plan that's verbal. We need to see something in writing. We need to see official plan from whoever it's from. If it's from DPS, great. You know, hopefully, God willing, that, you know, the temperatures are going to be getting up there back into the 40s, that the snow that we have is going to go ahead and melt away rather quickly. Okay? So you should be able to get somebody up there within the next 4 weeks to delineate the wetlands. Okay? So we need this plan. Okay? And like I said, we have been patient. Okay? We're trying to work with you too. All right? Just like you're trying to work with us in town. Okay? So this is what I'm proposing for, and I think we can go ahead and make this into a motion, but
I would like to talk after you say.
Well,
whatever
we
it is.
would
Yeah, okay.
need the
I'm sorry.
plan, an official plan
Yes.
with your consultant at the next meeting.
Yep. I won't be here at the next meeting, just to tell you that. My consultant will be here.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
will not be here. I usually leave today, the 16th, I usually leave, and I'm away for a month. I've been doing it for 28 years.
No, that's fine.
And also, I thank you very much for saying all this, but I also been working very due diligent, not me, my partner, Angelo Ortizi, Meadow Properties, since 2005.
Right.
2005. 2010, again, I'll bring up our consent order. Our consent order said, get up in there and get this done. 2010, January of 2010. That's when the town of Rocky Hill shut us down. You guys didn't shut us down.
Yeah. Right, okay, yeah, and,
So
yeah.
in 2-3 months, I know you probably have people banging on your doors and sending emails and saying, do something.
But it's also the point where we need this remediated, we need to protect the wetlands.
Perfect. With
The leaching,
Yep, yes.
that is something that has to be brought up with the state.
Well, why can't I bring it up, why can't Greg Lyschatz or somebody bring that up to you guys and say, why is that Meadow property, how come the town hasn't done nothing? You're going after Mr. Lyschatz or Meadow Properties for making some dirt go into my wetlands. I'm sorry. And you don't do nothing to protect your wetlands with the leachate going into there. The town's not you guys. The town is not protecting your wetlands. You want me to protect it from a runoff of dirt. You're not protecting your wetlands from, what?
Your property.
It's not our wetlands.
Property. We don't protect it.
So it's my property.
The dump is your property.
Yeah, and also the wetlands is my property.
Wetlands is a protected property. Yes, granted, yes, it is yours, but it is a protected land.
All right, so here's what I propose, yes, I'm gonna do that. I will make sure I'll make some more phone calls and get somebody else up there if I
Because
have to.
DEEP is going to have to tell you how they propose you correct that leaching. So that is going to be
They already told
DEEP.
us how to do it. From your wetlands up, they have the jurisdiction from your wetlands. And your line from the wetlands, as Mr. Brown just said, what jurisdiction? So you have jurisdiction on the whole east side. The whole east side's yours, 100 feet up, right up to my wood chips. That's all yours then. If you say you're having jurisdiction from that wetlands, and it's not a stream, Mr. Brown, I didn't want to say because you haven't been up there. It's not a stream, it's just wetlands. It's 24 acres or something of just wetlands. You have that jurisdiction. I want to make that clear. You say,
Through the chair, we have jurisdiction on the surface. Underneath that surface layer that erodes, that's the DEEP's jurisdiction.
okay.
Because I'm sorry, Todd, that's affecting the cap. We can't touch that cap.
It's not affecting the cap, it's affecting the wetlands.
Right, but what's leaching is affecting the cap.
Right, the leachade's coming
We
out.
can't touch the cap.
Yeah, but the leachade's coming outside the cap. Coming outside the
Right.
side of the east, the whole east side, your whole east
Right,
side is coming out.
but it's coming from underneath the cap. We can't touch that cap.
But it's not coming out from the cap. There's no cap.
It's coming from what's under the
doesn't-
ground.
Even if the
No, if the
town was
slope is
supposed
here-
to,
Okay,
It's coming
Okay.
from here. It's going out this way. It's coming,
Okay.
okay.
and it's, okay.
Go ahead, David, please.
well, if the town was to do something, the first thing I would do is contact Meadow Properties, because they're the property owner, and say, there's a problem, can we see a plan to fix it?
Correct.
That's
Right,
where we're
absolutely.
at, so.
That's where we're at.
That's exactly.
That's
what
fine.
For staff.
Go ahead.
To the chair.
Go ahead.
David, are we getting close to the point of imposing fines for violations?
Well, if the commission, feels that they haven't received an adequate response, which is basically no response, the ordinance permits daily fees, and we also have, in the regulations, section 12.5, for a violation of these regulations or conditions imposed, of $1,000 for each offense, and each day is considered a distinct and separate offense. We have gotten a response in the form of receipt of an application and the placement of the wood chips. So, I mean, I think you need something measurable, the written plans, or at least, draft plans with a draft plan for discussion, be made available by the next meeting. And then if not, that it would be basically a lack of response, similar to the letter, the second letter that Deep had sent out.
Madam Chairman?
I was gonna say something, okay. And I lost my train of thought. I was gonna preface the motion, but, with some perspective, over the last few months, but that's fine. I would like to make a motion that by next month's meeting, if we do not see a plan prepared by a professional to remediate, the issues with the erosion control, and within, the wetlands area, then we will have to consider fines. Well, we have seen, that's it.
Fine, that's fine,
Okay,
that's fine,
okay. Do I have a second? Okay,
fine.
discussion? Friendly amendment?
Perhaps a friendly amendment.
Sure.
I would like the plan to be presented in person by a representative of Mr. Lyschatz.
That's who is going to be represented, yeah.
Yeah.
We understand that Mr. Lyschatz is not going to be available, but we would like to have someone here whom we could ask questions of
Yep.
and get clarification
Yep.
that night
Yep,
and
Absolutely.
kind of put this to bed.
absolutely.
Will his professional his consultant be
Your
sufficient for you?
consultant
Okay,
who
perfect,
will be representing you, yes, whoever drew up the plan.
perfect.
Correct, that's fine.
Accepted.
Okay.
You want me to restate that then?
No, I
You
think
just accept it.
Did you,
Yeah.
did you say
Accept
weather
it. Accept it.
permitting, or did you say we'll go up there
No.
6 inches of snow, 12 inches of snow, or?
Well, we're going to move forward on the assumption that
There's
the
gonna be-
snow is going to melt enough and it'll be doable.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay?
Okay,
We're not going to worry about contingencies right now.
okay, so we have a motion, we have a second, we have a friendly amendment, and Commissioner
Accepted.
Cruz has accepted the friendly amendment. Do I have any further discussion? None? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? David, you look,
I'm perplexed.
Yes.
I'll agree to it.
okay. Okay, so this is the plan. We're going to have next month's meeting, we're going to have an official plan of remediation, and how we're going to handle this going forward. This will be presented by your consultant, because we do realize you will not be present, which is perfectly fine, as long as we have a representative from
Yes, you will.
your side.
Yep.
Okay, all right, so, do we need a motion to table?
Yeah, just to keep it clean.
Yeah, go ahead, and can you make a motion?
Okay, I make a motion to table the show cause hearing for Meadow Properties LLC, former Rocky Hill Landfill, 339 Meadow Road, AKA parcel ID number 05-7076, the cease and desist order, the violation of conducting regulated activities within the 100-foot upland review area, specifically clearing and removal of vegetation without the benefit of a permit.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nope. Okay.
So
Thank-
I'm sorry. So what Ms. Kelly just said was, without a permit to remove that stuff. So if I came in here and got a permit from you, I could have done this all. Is that what you're saying?
If you came to us ahead of time.
That's what
And
I'm saying.
If you came to us
Ahead of time.
first,
Well,
you would have still had to have presented us with a plan.
Listen, I got you.
Yep.
No,
So
Okay.
the next meeting date's March 13th, just so you can let
Yes.
the consultant know.
I'll be here.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay, next item. Thanks, Mr. Lychak.
Thank you very much, and sorry you ladies had to be here tonight.
Thanks. Okay, next item on the agenda is action taken, minutes presented for approval for January 10th, 2024. Do I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve minutes from January 10th.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No? Okay. Plan of Conservation and Development.
Yes, we did have a meeting. I have two updates. One, if we're familiar with the crowdsourcing that we did to enable 50 families in town to use Blue Earth to compost, we did some crowdsource funding, and the other half was paid for by Sustainable Connecticut. In 1 month, so far that we have a record for, 1,366 pounds of organic waste were picked up from 52 households and kept out of the trash stream that we would otherwise pay to ship to Ohio or New York State or Pennsylvania. So that was just a tiny segment of our population taking advantage of 6 months of free compost service. It's an indication of what we could do if we got composting on a larger scale in town, which I know it's in the works, but I thought that was a great statistic to share.
I definitely contributed to that.
Great.
A lot.
The other
Go through a lot of waste.
point is that we're getting ready to prepare the 2025 Plan of Conservation and Development, which you may be familiar is done every 10 years. P&Z oversees the process, but will be, and I say we because I'm on PIC, I'm not on P&Z, but the town will be looking for public input to get people's thoughts on what we want to do with our Plan of Conservation and Development, because it pretty much guides what the town develops or doesn't develop. So this is moving forward. We don't have a consultant yet, but the input we get from the public will help us guide the consultant with what we want him or her to focus on. So that is, those are the updates, compost and the POCD.
Perfect. Status report, various projects?
Most projects are fairly slow because of the weather. Kelson Row is moving along. We've done a few other site inspections. There's been no issues out there. Straska Farm, site work is nearly completed. We have to bring in some additional fill in the roadway. One issue that has come up, which I'll be addressing with our tree warden, is on the south edge of the project where we're working. There's an access road that goes across. In that area, through this remediation, we've had arsenic in the soils, naturally occurring arsenic in the soils, and we're meeting the residential threshold for these levels because of children will be out there, once it's completed. So we had this area that to remediate that. The arsenic was placement of a foot of cover over that material in place. And through this project, that area has expanded where it was detected. So this fill area expanded. So we have an area with about, excuse me, maybe 6 or 8 trees, possibly a few more. Not necessarily high-quality trees that were left there, and now this fill has been put down around these trees, and it could likely harm the trees. A resident reached out to various channels ended up with me about this fill, and they had just completed spreading this fill. So we may have to take a few trees down. We're going to have the tree warden look at it. Like I said, I think, the biggest ones maybe 8 or.
Do we know what
10
kind of
inches.
trees they are? I mean, are they trees that are probably gonna get, are they ash, that are gonna get ash borer disease anyways, or? are
They're,
they-
I don't know.
curious.
I don't have the species, but in general, they're the scrub that
Right,
grew up there, and half of them are wrapped in vines, anyways.
yeah.
But I'm going to be meeting with the tree warden when we can see the bottom of the tree. So in a few days, probably early next week, meet with him out there, and may have to remove some of the trees or back the fill off from around then. But we still need to have that cover over the arsenic, so.
I know we can't plant a big tree, but could we at least try to maybe just plant, I don't know, or plant a couple of other trees maybe in a better spot? I don't know.
Possibly. This is the first phase of this
Yeah.
project. We have community gardens that will be happening and some other,
I know we'll have a lot of opportunities for some green stuff going on there, but down at the end of that road, I don't know if it still says, still stays Trinity Red, but go all the way down where you could take a left and go down the stop signs to get to the gas station.
New road.
New road, thank you.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
cleared a bunch of big trees from their yard.
Yes, yeah, the corner.
And I was so sad when I saw that, and to have more trees come off of that same street just makes me sad, so. I understand if it has to come, it has to come, but I don't know, to lose the,
it was the creep of the detection of the radon that
I know.
led to the
And the
fill
trees are
that.
probably gonna die anyways, but,
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
that's, we're gonna be looking at that. Otherwise, the placement of the rest of the fill should be occurring soon. We also looked at taking some of the material from, the overburden material from Ames, and, it tested clean, but it's not suitable for what we need.
I meant to ask that question, how does he know?
The only other update is we do have a request for proposals out that will be coming in, I believe it's the end of this month. And that's for the access road into Phase 2 of the industrial park there below Dividend Pond and the railroad. There's two pipes, two corrugated metal pipe culverts there, and an additional third one coming from Dividend Pond under that roadway. We did receive a grant last year, and for design services, and we're looking to have a roadway getting over that crossing, the appropriate sized crossing and permitting, and a roadway to a cul-de-sac just before the solar area, so that the rear lot, the landlocked piece of the industrial park property, former Russo pit, can be marketed and developed.
Question, how wide would that road become?
I believe it would be similar to what's there now, 30-foot road. It would have to meet our subdivision standards.
So, but you're saying it's 30 feet, you're saying similar to what it is now? Is it 30 feet now?
Yeah, and it varies.
With a culvert?
It-
No, really?
It varies. In the area of the culvert, it's fairly wide.
Dave, I have a question for you for Straska. Unless it's been filled in, I've noticed on the east end where they're putting in, I think they're putting in one of the access roads into,
From New Road.
no, off of
The other-
New Britain Ave.
Yeah, that's a, emergency access. yeah.
Okay. There was something that was being dug up just to the east of that. Has that, and I noticed that, I don't know how deep it was, but I noticed it wasn't fenced off for protection if anybody were to fall in it. Again, I don't know how deep it is, but I've driven by it and I've noticed that.
That was probably, they probably went down to 2 or 3 feet for lead paint. Lead was present from the paint on the buildings all around the house and around that. There was a barn or a small shed.
Yeah, it
over
was
there.
in the area of that
Probably-
barn.
There was probably that. I believe that's
Yeah.
been filled
And
in.
it was,
by now.
it has, okay, because it wasn't that far off the road
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
Okay, all right. That's,
Yeah,
as
they
long
did
as that has been
like
filled
these
in.
Squares and
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, as long as it's been filled in, I wouldn't.
I'll double check on it.
Okay,
I'll
yeah,
make
could
sure,
you
but-
please? Thank you. Okay, open space? Nothing?
I'm not on it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Sandy's no longer on the farmland open space anymore. So if you have any updates on it,
I don't have anything.
okay, okay. Legislation?
Nothing to report.
Okay, conferences?
Nothing to report.
Okay, correspondence and communications?
We have the notice of violation, no response letter from Connecticut Deep regarding the landfill that I provided you with tonight. We had I was copied on an email from Deep to a resident that had reached out to them regarding the landfill from the director there, Enforcement Division. So that kind of, I thought it gave good perspective from Deep's point of view. That's all I have. Just to back up, as far as conferences, is I'm completing the floodplain manager training. So that's online. So that's the only conference I've been involved with when I have time.
Since we have at least one new member, and I'm bad, I didn't go, oh no, we're clear on the state mandated training because we've got Mr.
Yeah.
Stevens.
Yes, yep.
Perfect.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
That was that, remember that mandatory training?
I know, but how are you guys?
Because,
It's one member for this commission.
yeah,
Is what?
because you're,
That one
Trained?
member completed the training and you gave me your diploma.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, planning and zoning, it's all members.
okay.
So thank you.
Could we take
Even
still
though it
think we
was
should
like,
could.
even
watch
though it was
them.
like a couple of years ago that I did that?
But I think it's still valid.
Okay.
But could you, just in case anybody else wanted, could you recirculate that again for us, please, on any of that training? Please?
A bunch of good resources too.
I mean, it's always a good idea. There,
Right.
I believe there will be one coming up possibly in March. It's that full day one that's typically at Wesleyan. By the Bar Association.
Yeah.
They may have it available on, with all this training required for all these commission members, they've been overflowing it, so there's been a lot more online opportunities. So I'll see if that's gonna be offered this year. I don't, I forget if that goes every other year or every year.
I can't remember.
But
I think it's
there's a
every
lot
other
of opportunities around because of all the required training.
year. Yeah, I'm gonna need that for ZBA too. Okay, any other business? Nope. Motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
You can't vote.
Oh, I can't. He's back.
He's back.
That's right.
Right.
Oh, we'll stay here
I'll
all
make the
night.
motion.
You got the motion.
seconds?
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
I'll still say aye.
we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight, even though it is Valentine's